morning, Dennis.
That'd be great.
If only it was a good morning. What time did you wake up today?
5:30 in the morning.
Why did you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, Dennis?
Because I was gonna be a dutiful son and drive my dad to the airport. JFK, mind you. And because I volunteered, hey, I'm gonna go drop you off. Don't worry about it. Right? Right. Well, what ended up happening was that I woke up at 5:30 because we were gonna try and head out before 6 because his flight arguably is at 9. And I know some of you may be thinking, yo, what the fuck, 3 hours like before a flight? And like usually it's like 2 to 3 hours, you know, before you head for a flight. Just
you gotta give yourself some time. Yeah,
just saying, because TSA, whoever the fuck, could like hold you up for whatever reason, just, you know, to give yourself some breathing room. Pays to go there early.
Yeah, they could be like, there's something, hey, listen, we gotta stop you, there's something in your butt. And then when there's nothing in your butt, they might abuse your power and be like, all right, we want something.
Are there liquids in that?
Yeah, we want something to be in your butt.
Yeah. Are there liquids in your butt? You know,
like was that South Park skit? Excuse me, sir, I just gotta check your asshole.
Okay, fast forward. Woke up at 5:30. My dad told me to go back to sleep because he's just gonna take an Uber to get to the fucking airport. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning for no fucking reason, and like, I'm not mad at my dad or anything, but it was just like I was just annoyed at the situation because I woke up again at 5:30 in the morning for no fucking reason. So I just stayed awake until I've basically just been awake for fucking since 5:30, and like, you know, I gotta say though too, I haven't woken up that early in a long time, and to be fair, I kind of do want to change my sleep schedule a little bit, just because, like, you know, I think for me, waking up at double digits in the morning is honestly kind of bad if you really think about it. I mean, at the same time, I should also be sleeping at like a reasonable hour too. That also goes without saying. And for me, like, I'm a guy who can function off of like 6 hours of sleep. I know other people, like, you know, have to have like way more, just to even function in the day. Which, I mean, you know, again, like, it is what it is everyone's just built different. And like, you know, like, and I'm a little rambling here, but I think everyone kind of knows that feeling of like when you don't get enough sleep, or when you wake up supremely early and like everything and anyone just sort of pisses you off. Like, just the littlest things like is enough to make me so fucking annoyed. And like, I'm not saying I'm like that with like just everybody, but like, I was literally driving back and forth today before I got back home to record this on this wonderful Wednesday. And even though, you know, we're giving you guys this episode on Friday, and like, I was driving and people just even turning, not like just turning their car like an idiot was enough to bug the shit out of me. Like, just even the littlest things just bothered me. And I feel as if unless either one, I have some caffeine, or two, I just take a nap for the day, I'm gonna just be like this for the whole day. And I hate feeling like this. It's a fucking shitty feeling. It sucks ass.
If you woke up that early and you couldn't get back to sleep, why didn't you just play some Thousand Year Door?
Well, Dave, unlike some of us in here.
And there's a lot of people in this call, so he could be talking about anybody.
Yeah. Just mainly looking at you.
Okay,
you know,
that's right.
I finished the game. And this is actually not one of those times where like I played the game and I finished it a long time ago and like I just played the remake again just to beat it again. This is my very first time actually beating this game. I haven't 100%ed everything, but I also found out that there's a lot of secret bosses like in this game, and there's even a new addition to that roster in this remake as well, which I'm not gonna spoil nothing as to who it is, and you've probably already kind of like looked up a YouTube video or something, but if not, like, you know, I'm not gonna spoil it here. And I'm very, like, you know, I kind of want to do those secret bosses just so I could at least say, like, oh, yo, like 100% of this bitch. But let me also just say, yeah, on a side quest. And also, you know, like we didn't even get to introduce the podcast today. Before I go on any further, like, you know, welcome to the Double D's in, I guess, still in the morning, 97.1. Yes, your boy has finished 1,000 Year Door for the very first time in his entire life. Because little
so
backstory.
What did you think?
But backstory.
Did you do any of the side quests? Did you get Myth Mouth in your party even though she walked up and kissed you on the dick?
I apparently found out that you can get her as a partner, and apparently she's also one of the worst.
Oh, wait, did you not know that?
I did not know that, no.
Oh, you thought she was just like a side character.
Yeah, I really just thought, yeah.
No, she can join your party. Like, she's...
I never knew.
Yeah, but she's just straight up optional. Yeah, she's just... you gotta do one of the side quests to get her.
I mean, yeah, because, like, I think for me, by the time I got Bobbery, I kind of just stuck with him and Vivian for a good chunk of the entire playthrough until, like, the very end where, like, I just decided, fuck, I'm gonna splurge my shine sprites and just upgrade the fuck out of everybody and, like, you know, just have them to be, like, the best versions of themselves, like, literally. And I gotta say, though, like...
Everybody knows you can't be the best version of yourself until you meet some greasy paisano.
With a crystal ball.
With a crystal ball in some ghetto-ass seaport town. That is the message of this podcast before we go on any further. If y'all listening want to get some self-help, you want to be your best self, all you have to do is meet some very tiny Italian dude, some very tiny little Italian greaseball in a ghetto-ass seaport town, and talk to some crystal ball mage behind a counter. That is the true message of this podcast. Please, Dennis, continue.
So, you know, last week, I had already talked about how I was already halfway through with the game, and you know, was kind of saying that, like, oh, you know, the first half, like the first 4 chapters, are like more like, I guess, of the highlight, like, are the highlights for me rather than like the latter half. Although I have to say, I was kind of wrong about that second half. Not gonna lie, I was saying some shit. I retract what I said from last week because from especially chapter 5, which is when we go to Keelhaul Key, there was a lot of heart in there that, like, I was not expecting. If for anyone who knows, you know, but I guess spoilers, I suppose, for anyone who, like, you know, this is your very first time even playing 1,000 Year Door at all.
It's a 20-year-old game, fuck all y'all.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, this remake is technically new, so, you know, whatever.
So the new generation hasn't played it yet.
So our last partner,
it actually
our
means
boy,
a lot to me that they haven't, and I'm happy that they get to experience it in this new way, so,
that's why, like, you know, we joke, we kid here.
Yeah, we do a little trolling. We like to have a little bit of fun. I'm really happy to hear you say this, by the way, because if Keelhaul Key is the quote-unquote worst of what the game has to offer...
No, it was not.
Which I don't even think it is. Like,
no, it wasn't.
I want to retract my statement, too, because not only because the story is great, but, like, the first half of Chapter 7 is the one that pickles my asshole in the wrong way. Because, first of all, Far Outpost... You feel the difficulty bump. Those fucking ice piranha plants are annoying as fucking shit. Even as a kid, I hated those fucking things. I just, like, walked past them as best I could, and you can't, because they fucking teleport to where you're standing. It's really annoying. And then it's when you have to do the stupid oh my god. I completely forgot. That's where you have to do the stupid fucking quest to find the general. And you have to, like, go back. And, I forgot about that. You have to go back. And then you have to go to Petalburg and, like, be like, you have to talk to the Bob-Omb there. And they're just like, you know, I haven't fucking seen him. You know, maybe he's in Poshley Sanctum or something. Then you have to go all the way to Poshley Heights. And then they're like, I don't know. I haven't fucking seen him.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
you
like
have to go
your
back to
princess is
Far
in another
Outpost.
castle type of shit. But it's like your general's in another castle, like, or town, whatever the fuck.
And
like,
then the prick is just sleeping on the bed. Never mind. Chapter 7's the worst. I take it back.
That's the thing. I have to agree with David on this one because, like, I had a lot of fun with chapters 5 and 6. I actually really loved 5, and I think out of all the bosses we fought throughout the entire game, I thought Cortez was honestly one of my favorite
Fucking
ones.
Sick, right?
Yeah, he's also hilarious considering like he like leaks in some Spanish every now and then as he talks, and like there's even one like part like it's like the beginning when like you meet him. And it's like right before you fight him, like in the boss fight, and he's just like, he literally just like screams out like "Hablas!" like speak, like, it just like brings in that it just adds like to the charm of him.
Very charming, yeah.
And funny enough though, like there was a point in time where like I think I just decided like fuck it, I'm gonna grind and just make Mario like ridiculously like overpowered and like kind of just. Like, just kind of prepare myself towards, like, when we get to the Shadow Palace, which is the final level of the game.
Have you ever played the Shadow Palace at all? Did you ever get to that part?
No, I did,
when you played it as a kid?
I literally just couldn't beat the Shadow Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's what you said.
Like, I literally got towards the end, but just never was able to beat that boss. And, like, that was, just me as, like, a wee child and stuff. And at least, people could, like, believe, like, oh, coming from the first game, like, the like 1,000-Year Door isn't really that much different mechanics wise, but like they just add a lot more to it this time around for 1,000-Year Door compared to the first one in 64. So like at the very least, like that also comes with its own, I guess, a bit of a difficulty bump too, because I think Bowser at the last part of the first game, he has like I think 99 HP, I believe. Like that's how much he has.
That's an arbitrary number. Why not just make it an even hundo?
I know, but that's the thing. Like Shadow Queen, I believe, has like a straight 120, from what I remember.
In the new game? No, the OG, it was 150. I remember that. I remember that deliberately. Yeah.
Then it's probably 150 now. Then I feel.
No, it was 150. I remember that. Yeah.
So like obviously like. For me as a young child, like I thought like, oh, I beat the first game. It's going to be easy, blah, blah, and everything. And one thing that I did not realize until towards like the latter half was how broken badge points are. And just how broken badges are in general. Where like when I did my playthrough with David a while back of the first Paper Mario, I think like as far as my stats were, like they weren't all too bad. But with the way I spread out like the my level ups between HP and FP and then also BP being like badge points. Badge points was the one area that I upgraded the most because I figured out quickly that you could literally go through this entire game with like maybe 30 HP maybe or so, and then but like for me, FP and BP was like the two areas that again like that I focused on the most. And badges in this game are borderline broken, I think, to a certain extent. Like depending on how like you kind of I guess depending on which badges you use like for Mario, if you get certain ones by like the latter half of the game, you kind of almost like just the difficulty of like whatever the game is trying to throw at you literally means nothing towards the end. And there's even a couple where like, oh, like you can upgrade your attack power for when you use your hammer and jump. There's even the ones that improve your defense when you hit a successful reaction command, like, you know, when you're trying to defend yourself from an attack. And I found out that, like, towards when I got to the Shadow Queen, like, I was down on, like, 3 HP for a good chunk of the time, but Close Call is also still a broken-ass badge. From even the first game to now, it's still one of the most broken badges ever. The
thing is that, like, you can upgrade your health and your flower points by upgrading the badge points.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you just focus on that, it kind of negates it's kind of a flaw when you think about it. Like, it kind of negates, like, you know, the whole point of, like, upgrading health or health and FP because you could just upgrade that later with BP. You want to know the strategy that speedrunners use to like get through the game as quickly as possible. They put on the I don't even remember what it was called. They put on like the peril power badge, whatever it is, that makes it so when you're at 1 health, your attacks just do stupid amounts of damage. And then they, what they do is that all they do in the final boss is they upgrade themselves, like they upgrade their power over and over. They don't even attack Bowser in the original game. They just upgrade their power over and over and over again. Then they let him hit them. And then what they do is that they just use the power bounce badge and they kill him in 1 turn. Yeah. That's all they do. That's literally the speedrun strat for the game. So I agree, and like thinking about it now, it sounds really stupid even to an outsider that you could just do that. I don't know if it's still as broken as Dennis is making it out to be. I mean, he played the remake and I haven't so far. But the thing is, with this badges being what they are, if all you focus on are badge points, you could just make your character do so many insane things at the cost of just having like lower health or lower flower points, I guess, which again can be negated because there's the HP plus badge and the FP plus badge, which you could also put on that upgrades your health a little bit. Like, yeah, you won't be at like 50 health or like something, or get 50 flower points.
You don't
or
even need
ridiculous
50 health,
like
though.
that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of don't even need it unless you're bad. In which case, you might want to like focus on that. I suppose. If you can
hit those reaction commands successfully, then the health is the only thing preventing you from just dying an early death on most fights.
Would you say it's easier to do anyway because the game runs at 30, or is it more difficult?
I think
were you able to super guard regularly?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, then
I think
whatever.
The only thing I'd say,
in the original,
though,
it's like a 1 frame input, something like that.
I think so.
I don't run 3 frame input. I don't fucking remember.
I remember there was like some videos that I saw of like it's kind of like how we've seen those Smash Brother videos of like like top 10 things or 20 things or 40 things that are broken in Smash 4 or whatever. Yeah, like and it's like. I've seen people even kind of do similar videos with Paper Mario, at least the first 2, because like those were like the more RPG-y looking ones than compared to like kind of what we got afterwards. But I'd even say like again, this is not a difficult game by any means. It's not difficult at all. Just throw your stuff mostly on flower points and badge points. And there's very little you'll have to worry about. Visit that badge shop after every chapter. Grab everything.
Walk past the mouse because she's a little touchy.
Yeah.
And she might do something to you without asking.
She might be issuing a YouTube apology video eventually, but we'll see like how that goes.
Miss Mouse just like boots up the YouTube video like after the allegations, just like well, guys, here we are. It's like her fucking badge, like, posting channel and shit that she has for herself, like, where she just talks about different badges every week.
Yeah.
Then she just gets outed on Twitter.
I am sorry. It's like, that's the last, like, thumbnail that you see on, like, her video. It's just like, I am sorry.
Just gets outed on Twitter by, like, fucking Goombella, who just, like, makes a post saying the truth about Miss Mouse. Like, after everything.
Let me say something.
She walked up and kissed this man on the cock in front of me without asking, like without saying anything.
There was no consent whatsoever. Like,
I just think this kind of problematic like nature just doesn't belong in our ecosystem, and that's why I think Miss Mouse should be gone.
She has to go. She has to be canceled.
OMG, Goombella, I'm so sorry for what you went through.
On Twitter. This is how she talks on Twitter.
Yeah, even though it's Mario you should be apologizing to, who nobody asked if he even seemed to mind. Which doesn't, I guess, defeat the which that doesn't change anything if he didn't seem to mind. The fact is, she walked up and kissed a man on the cock without, like, asking.
Can I also just say that Mario literally gets all the bitches in this game?
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know what decision in the writer's room.
Goombella kissed him. Fucking Ms. Mouse kisses him. I think the only one who we see a part of like the main cast that don't kiss him is Jolene. And I think Peach. And I think Peach doesn't. Does Peach kiss him?
No, she doesn't.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, no, she doesn't. The one girl he actually wants, which which really delves you into the psychosis of Mario. By the way, which lets you know, like, she's the one girl I cannot have, and that's why she is so alluring. I want to apologize for my statements last week because I realized probably the actual reason that Mario cares about her and not the rest of the girls that are up on him is probably because she's an actual human. You know, she's the only member of his actual species that gets up on him.
I would have thrown a bone to Miss Flurry. Not gonna lie.
I would have too. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, you know, like, just pull up the picture.
Bro, the thickness. She's got the DSL. I can't even. I can't even hold you, man. Like she's
come on, man.
She's got the boldness, the confidence. She's got that she's got that theater diva confidence.
Exactly,
and that's part of what makes her attractive.
You know, she's a freak in the sheets too. So you know, it's just saying.
So Mario, you're really not feeling any of these women in your phone?
No, Luigi. I'm not really feeling any of them. But it makes sense. Like, he doesn't want any of them up on him because none of them are human. My brain never put two and two. This game is so fantastical that my brain never put two and two together on that, where I'm like, oh, how would he fuck any of these things? He's not like Omni-Man where he's just like, yo, bug pussy, Mark. Bug pussy. I love bug pussy, Mark. Where that could just work in that kind of fucking way. Yeah, he could fuck a ghost. He could fuck a cloud spirit. It could work. She's got titties, so, like, it makes sense. I don't know.
There's 2 instances in this game from your partners that they express their interest in Mario. Vivian being one of them, who we, you know, obviously, like, for anyone who doesn't know, is trans, like, you know, was a lad, and now he's a lass, or she's a lass now. And
if you're another into that, one, who cares?
Yeah, and then if there's the next one is
she's probably still like skilled enough if she.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's probably just like, get the suck. I don't know. Just that. I don't know if you're into that, right? If you're into that, power to you.
And the last one being Goombella also. There are instances in the game where they're like, you know, they're like talking about Mario and they're just kind of like, oh, I wanted to tell you. Never mind. Like, you know, it's just like, clearly we know what that means, okay? Yeah. I don't want to hear nobody saying like, oh no, they're just friends. And then love interest.
And can I add to that? Yeah. They're both young.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Goombella's in university.
Goombella is. I don't know how old Vivian is. I imagine also. She's the youngest of the sisters. She's the youngest of the 3 sisters, so like, I want to say it's a little...
she's a little old because Beldam knew the Shadow Queen.
Yeah.
So, like, I assume they're just, like, kind of pretty ancient, like, all 3 of them.
Maybe it's like a Viltrumite thing where, like, they age way slower. And so Vivian is basically, like, you know...
Well, she's
Vivian's basically, like, 19 or 20 in terms of, like, however many thousands of years that is for, like, shadow ghosts or something. But I'm just saying, you know, it's both a little misguided, just because, like, Mario is, like, literally the only person the first person, I should say, that accepted that Vivian is trans.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Vivian was just like, I was a brother, but I didn't want to be a brother, and I just feel like I'm a sister. And Mario was just like, okie dokie. Like, he just didn't fucking care. So naturally, Vivian's gonna develop feelings for that, but it might be a little misguided because it just might be because he's just the first person
only
that accepted
one who's
her.
Accepted, yeah.
Which may not necessarily be misguided. That's a perfectly good reason to love somebody, but they're also different species. So I don't know how that fucking...
I mean, you know...
Well, actually, she didn't know that at the time, because when she met him, he was just a fucking shadow ghost of his former self.
Who looked exactly like the guy she fought 2 chapters ago. In the same outline.
And Goombella is a different story. Respectfully, she's a junior in college. And I'm not going to belittle, like, somebody's age for that. Like, I mean,
But she's probably horny as fuck.
And she's probably legal. Junior in college would mean she's probably 21, unless she's one of those prodigies or whatever. But Dennis ain't lying. Like, you know, the tattle ability that she does, every time Mario talks to a woman, Goombella will just be like, ugh. I don't really get the bow she's wearing. Like, oh, Bo, I forget, when you meet Bo, when you talk to Bo in the game and Mario does it, she literally goes like, did you two, like, have a thing? Straight up, that's one of the pieces of dialogue. I'll see if I can find that and, like, post it on the video, because I'm trying to be a little more visual with it. But point is, I don't know who in the writer's room... I don't know whose decision it was to just have every girl get up on him, because Mario just comes off like fucking so autistic in this game.
Yeah, just hella clueless.
Yeah, because Paper Mario is just so derpy. If you've ever played the last Mario and Luigi game before Alpha Dream went bankrupt, or before they made the remasters, and Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, that's the one that's the crossover between Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario joins your party.
Yeah.
It's literally just a Mario and Luigi game, plays the same, except Paper Mario is a party member now.
Okay.
He just comes off so, when you literally see him next to normal Mario, he just comes off so fucking derpy. Like, I can't explain it. It's like, maybe because you can't see his mouth, or like, it's just because of his demeanor or the way that he walks compared to them, but he just comes off so autistic, and it gets him bitches, and it makes no sense. Somebody in the comments, and this is my new life motto, by the way. I'm sorry for like sidetracking here. This will be really quick, I promise. Somebody in the comments literally said, and as somebody who has struggled in the dating game because of literally my Asperger's as well, this is my new life motto, said, "Rism with the tism." And I just have to say, ever since reading that, I have never seen an internet comment that has spoken to me more on a personal level and has stuck with me and talked directly to my fucking soul. That is my new life motto. Because I'll tell you something, it works. When you give people that kind of excuse for you to be the way that you are, you get those quirk points. And yes, being 6'5" with a voice lower than Poseidon's nutsack helps, but I'm just saying, when you play it off as like the quirky angle, there's a sect of women that loves that. And I learned that from a young age, apparently, deep in the recesses of my subconscious, by playing Paper Mario the fucking 1000-year door.
Let me also just say, though, that only works if you're also at least somewhat attractive. Because if you're ugly as fuck, and you could be as quirky as you want, it does not work at all.
There'll still be someone who finds you attractive, but it probably won't work as often, truthfully. Pretty privilege is very much a thing, as we all know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, man, my experience with that woman in the Best Buy, when I admitted that shit was crazy. That woman was hugging me like the day I first met her after talking to me about how deep and cavernous her vagina was. It was a very interesting conversation I had with her, truthfully. But, yeah, continuing on before we move on to the next topic. Dennis, what other thoughts do you have about the final portions of the game? Were you as annoyed with Chapter 7 as I was? Not only because of Far Outpost, but also because of the moon. Yeah, like, cool, you're on the moon or whatever, but it's so slow. And it's not like the first Paper Mario game where you have the badge that makes you, like, twirl and go faster. That doesn't exist. You can't even ride Yoshi to make you go faster on the fucking moon. It's just...
I don't know what it is, or maybe my patience has just waned so thin because I've gotten older, I suppose. But slowing down a game's speed, not pace, but the speed, I don't know what it is, but it just annoys the shit out of me for some reason. Like, the first other time that this happened was during a Bowser level when you're underwater. And I had to continuously just jump to just move forward. And I mean, well, people may even argue, like, well, that's just always been a thing ever since even, like, Super Mario World. Like, when you're underwater, like, that's just, like, how things are. And, like, you know, again, to a certain extent, like, okay, I agree with you on that. But I don't know what it was around this time around when, like, I was on the moon. And, like, you know, Mario's on the moon. And, like, the game's speed slows down because, like, you know, they'll argue, like, well, you're in space. Like, you know, it's 0G. Like, you know, just obviously you're going to be, like, hopping, floating around, and it's going to be a little slow.
If you didn't go slow, it would have felt stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Which, like, you know, again, I agree with that, but it's just this irrational part of my brain that, like, just hated the fact that it just slowed down the game speed. I don't know what it is. It just, I don't know. I cannot say for sure, again, what the fuck it was, but, like, it just annoyed me. And it, like, didn't like take away my enjoyment or anything. Again, the complaints that I say don't like knock this game's score down by like 2 points or anything. It's just like these very little things that like just annoy me. Not to the point where like, oh, like this game sucks because of it, but just because like, you know, I'm allowed to voice like things that annoy me, okay? And like, you know, again, it's not to the detriment of the game or whatever. But I guess what I'm also kind of I guess gonna allude to as well was that this game I almost forgot just how hormonal it kind of is, because we have a computer who loves Peach and he literally professes his love for or its love for her, like, and I'm just like, yeah, TEC.
How does it feel? to betray your entire race for pussy.
For that royal pussy.
For that royal
like
puss.
I don't know who wrote this script. I don't know who, but like,
but why am I crying in the club right now? Right?
Yeah, exactly that too. Like, it was very
like Godzilla -1
heartfelt.
now on Netflix.
Yes, that is very true. If you guys want to go have a great movie experience,
unless you can't read.
Yeah, if you can't read English subtitles, because I don't know, you're stupid or something. But just watch -1. Don't watch the dub. No, we have to stop Godzilla, Rina-chan. We have to
What?
I guess that's usually how bad the dubs are, like, especially for those kind of movies. Which is a shame.
Yeah. Are they going to dub it?
It's such a shame.
Yeah, whatever, but I don't even want to ask that.
Yeah, but closing thoughts on Thousand Year Door. 9.5 out of 10. It's fucking amazing. Just play the game. Like, for anyone who's looking for not like a God of War level of experience when it comes to, like, I guess a narrative sort of RPG. Not that I'm saying, again, God of War is an RPG. Just saying, like, if you guys are looking for just a charming, but also at the same time very heartfelt adventure, play Thousand Year Door. And it's one of those games that I just feel like, it kind of just sometimes for a lot of people seem like a one-off, but there's a lot in it that I think everyone's just gonna find some enjoyment from. And if you like RPGs, this is also like a great game to like kind of tickle that fancy. And there is also one last thing that I kind of want to say, because I saw this cameo and it kind of got me a little excited. I don't know. Again, this is nothing but conjecture. Again, we don't deal with facts on this show. But by the epilogue of the game, Mario and Luigi are back at home, right? And we see that there are two portraits, two photographs. One of the partners that we, were fighting with in Thousand Year Door, and the other being partners from the very first Paper Mario from N64. And it makes me, I don't know if I saw this before, because I never got to see the ending from the first Thousand Year Door. Yeah.
You want me to shrivel your balls real quick?
It was already there, huh?
It was in the original game.
It was in the original?
Those photos were there in the original game. It was just a cameo, like a little callback. All the partners from the first game are in the original game after the post-game. You can go up there. Well, there's one of them in each world, and you can literally go to them and talk to them.
Oh, shit. I had no idea.
Yeah, literally all of them. Like, yeah.
I think Paracoopa we've already seen.
Parakarry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Parakarry's at the beginning. He's like, delivers the letter. He's like,
he's just he's the USPS. Yeah, he's the USPS worker that we always just see, like, every morning. Which...
So I hate to burst your balls, but, like...
But...
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna get into real...
If you were getting into copium territory, because I know that's where you were going with this.
What if, though? Let's just put on our tinfoils for a brief
Marvel's
second.
What if, though? Yeah.
Can you see them even touching anything from N64 and bringing that over now?
Yes.
Have they done that yet with the Switch? Hasn't it only been like GameCube games that they've like kind of remastered to bring over? Because like,
because
we only have N64 games because of the Switch Online.
But that
doesn't really count.
There was a shitty sequel to Pokemon Snap that they made.
Oh no, that game was great.
Snap.
What are you talking about? I actually love that game.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I didn't play it. Probably shouldn't call it shitty then. They did that. If you're asking now, unless they announce some major stuff in the Direct this month, I don't... and there is a Direct this month. You remember fucking Furukawa confirmed that.
Yeah.
Or July. I don't remember. I get the J months confused. But, yeah, unless they're announcing anything more, then I don't know. Because Switch is at the end of life, so if there was ever a time to do it, it's now. But there ain't no chance in hell we're getting another remastered Mario RPG. After Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door being released like this close in conjecture with each other. But if you're asking if I can see them doing it, Yeah, I mean, these sales numbers were pretty good for 1,000 Year Door, as we
I've
all
seen it
pretty
too.
much expected them to be. So they're definitely taking that in mind. They released the polls online as to what people want to see from Paper Mario. Nintendo just does this thing, and it takes them a long time to listen, but for some cases they actually do. They don't just make a tweet and then sit on it for 2 years and do absolutely nothing and not fix their fucking game in the slightest. More on that in a couple of minutes. Nintendo do what Valve don't. For once. Like, for literally for once. And, yeah, so if you're asking if I can see them, like, remastering, like, old N64 games, why the hell not? I can absolutely see them doing that, but they would need a reason. Paper Mario: The 1,000 Year Door came out now in the time that it did because it was perfect for literally everybody. It was 20 years after the original game launched. It's the end of life of the Switch console, which means they are releasing remasters for it to fill out and round out the numbers while they save all their upcoming stuff for the new console. Metroid Prime 4 is not coming out for the Switch. It is 1,000% on the Switch 2. I will put so much money on that. Or at the very least, it's going to be one of those dual launches that they do, like how Breath of the Wild was both for the Switch and the Wii U. They might do that as well because they don't want to just lose sales of the game for the new one, especially considering Metroid is not the highest selling Nintendo franchise ever. But, yeah, the reason 1,000 Year Door happened was not just because everybody wanted it. They've known for a long time how long everybody wanted it, but they didn't have a reason to release it yet, just because people wanted it. For big companies, unfortunately, these things aren't always as black and white for them. It was also a matter of the anniversary, which Nintendo has their rules on. It's part of the reason Samus was not in Fortnite when they were asked about that, because they wanted to make her a Switch exclusive. Very stupid of Nintendo to do that. We'll go watch Arlo's video on that for more. But it's also because of just the financial state Nintendo was in and where they're going at to release their next console. It was just the best time for them to release it for everyone, and including themselves. So if you're asking if they're going to do that, I can say yes, but Nintendo needs other reasons besides just people wanting it. Same thing for, like, F-Zero. You know, they said, like, we don't know if enough people would want an F-Zero game. Or Star Fox. Everybody says they want a new Star Fox game. We can't make a new Star Fox right now because we straight up don't know how to make it good. They said that. They literally said that. We don't know what to do with it. It's why Star Fox Command had 9 endings. Or 9 different endings, because they couldn't fucking pick one. They literally don't know what to do with the story, and if they don't know what to do with it, they don't want to release a subpar product. So,
Fair.
as far as them releasing N64 remasters, they have no reason not to do that. They made Mario 64 DS before, among other different types of things. So, they do it, but they need a reason. The reason they released Mario 64 DS, hey, look what we can do. It's literally a higher quality, or like a higher graphical fidelity version of Mario 64 on this fucking tiny thing. Isn't that crazy? They had a reason to do it. You see what I mean? It's the same thing for Star Fox. It's like their tech demo showcase. They don't make a new one unless they have, like, new tech to show off or whatever. It's Nintendo does do these things, but they need, like, internal reasons to do it if their track record is showing anything. So my answer to you, Dennis, is yes. They will absolutely remaster those games at some point in the future, but not until they either release a new console, or it's the end of life of a new console, or they release, like, a new tech with their new console. Like, look at what these new Joy-Cons with the Switch 2 can do. It'd be perfect for a remaster of this game. That's just kind of how they operate. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Why else would they remaster Luigi's Mansion 2? Who asked for that? Literally, who asked for that? But people are looking forward to it, and they did it because, like, hey, Switch, end of life. Mario vs. Donkey Kong remastered. No one expected that. Nobody asked for it. Yeah. Switch is nearing end of life. You see how many remasters they're doing? And after playing the Peach game, which was one of, like, the only new games that they really released, and how that game was pretty subpar in my personal opinion, as well as having technical issues, it goes to show where their priorities are at right now.
Fair.
So, yes, they will, Dennis. They just need at least one other internal excuse to do it. They're not just going to drop a new Banjo-Kazooie and, like, team up with Microsoft to do it just because people have been begging for it for years. They're going to wait until people have been begging for it for even more years.
Yeah.
And we have, like, a new console where we can, like, showcase it better or some shit like that.
Can we? Okay, one last thing. So, yes,
they will remaster Paper Mario 64, but probably not for, like, 14 years. There you go.
I already have, like, kids and shit by that point. But I guess one last thing. And because, you know, again, you mentioned there might be a Direct this month. Might be one next month. Got the J's mixed up. But how big do you think this Direct is gonna be? Do you think this shit will break the internet?
It's not gonna break the internet per se as far as the console goes, because it has also been confirmed by Furukawa, we ain't revealing that shit in this direct. That's just for us. That's just for us to, like, circle jerk each other in the boardroom, being like, look how much money we're gonna make. That's gonna happen. I don't know. I can't fucking... what the fuck what do you think I know, Dennis? Because it's at the very least, the June directs are usually the fucking fire ones for the most part. Those are usually the ones where it's like,
oh shit, yeah.
I think it was a June direct that revealed 1,000 Year Door. I think. I don't remember. Yeah. So I don't know. They're probably going to announce more remasters that are going to be releasing in the upcoming year, because we're not going to learn more about the Switch 2 until the end of the next fiscal year. And for those of you that don't understand the business lingo, that's not end of this year, December. That's end of fiscal year, which ends in like March or May of next year or something.
2025 is when we're going to be getting any news of that.
We're going to get news of this console around like spring of next year, and the console's dropping in holiday of 2025, if I had to guess. Or 2026 maybe, if they decide to delay it another year, who knows. So we're not going to get any news on the Switch, at least not until next year. So the only thing I can think of is what's probably going to happen is that they're probably going to announce more like huge remasters that we're not going to expect being released for next year, which is still going to be end of life for Switch. So they could do something completely unexpected and be like, fuck it, we remastered Paper Mario 64 too, because it was the same team, the same resources or whatever. Maybe. More likely, maybe they're gonna they just got the rights back from Alpha Dream or whatever, and they're gonna release a Mario and Luigi RPG remaster. Like, if they remaster one of the maybe Partners in Time, which hasn't been before for the Switch, I really doubt they're gonna do something like that. But point is that there's definitely gonna be more remasters. I'll call that right the fuck now for next year.
Which one do you think
I'd be shocked if there's too much more new games. Really? To really announce for the next fiscal year?
Splatoon 4 for the end of life of Switch.
That would be insanely stupid, because then people are just going to move on to the next console. Unless they, drop it like it's the crossplay thing and like, hey, it's on the Switch too, also on Switch. And then you could just crossplay
I feel as if that probably won't be dropped until like when the news of the console first comes out then.
Yeah.
But, okay, so then as far as like, let's say the plethora of remasters that we're expecting, right? What is one that you think you can expect to be announced this month or next month?
Twilight Princess was on Wii U, right?
There was also a Switch. There was also a Switch one too.
They did put Twilight Princess on Switch?
I'm gonna confirm that.
Are you sure?
Let me see. I think it might have been Skyward Sword.
Yeah, it was Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
Skyward Sword. They dropped. A lot of people were disappointed about. Well, I mean, some people didn't like Twilight Princess, but whatever. Okay, so they already dropped that for like their Zelda anniversary for the thing. Yeah, it was Wii U. Fuck. Okay.
Wind Waker, come on.
No way. No way. People are gonna be disappointed if that happens again. I'm gonna take a huge shot in the dark. With them listening to fans and releasing all these things for the Switch, the Switch's end of life. Call me crazy, and I think I'm gonna put something on this now if you all want to put some money. They're gonna remaster Star Fox Assault.
I'm gonna say Kirby Air Ride.
I can see them doing that. No, Air Ride's not gonna get remastered. They're gonna make a sequel to that shit.
Fuck.
They're definitely gonna make a sequel. Can't you see them remastering Star Fox Assault though? With them listening.
I can't.
No, listen, because like with the Paper Mario games, it's like these were always the ones that were better, and now they finally listened because, like I mentioned earlier, they had an actual reason to release these things now. It's the kind of thing that was niche on Nintendo's radar for them to eventually put up because they have a fiscal reason to do it. And the Star Fox equivalent of that are people saying Assault was the most underrated game in the entire series, which a lot of people are saying, really. The game aged pretty well for the most part, except for like the weird tank controls and the land missions and whatnot.
Which they could fix now, honestly.
And especially considering the fact that they don't know what the hell to do with Star Fox because of how huge Zero bombed, just remaster the old ones. And like use that as a testing ground. Oh yeah, no. Oh no.
Assault would go
No, the more I think about it, that shit's happening. The more I think about it, that shit's fucking happening. They're gonna use that as a testing ground for Star Fox as well. Yeah, you know what? That's my bet. They're gonna eventually, before the Switch is out, they're gonna remaster Star Fox Assault. Or maybe Kid Icarus. That's actually a good thing. People have been begging for a Kid Icarus Uprising port to Switch forever. So truthfully, I can see them doing that instead of saving that for the new console, because why would they save that for the new console? That's not a console seller, really. Those are my bets. Either Star Fox Assault or Kid Icarus Uprising Remastered. Those are my bets.
Fuck.
Yeah, what's on your mind? Do you fucking agree with me? You're trying to disagree with
I do,
me? You're trying
I do
to think
agree
of
with
something,
you.
boy, but you
Because
fucking...
now I'm like...
You can't, can you?
I also do feel that they're a bit, I guess, restricted this time around because of, since, again, the Switch is at the end of life, and as far as, like, you know, what they can be developing at this, like, critical point, because, like, they only have a good year until, like, the... or even less than that, I feel, is at this point. They have less than a year.
We're not getting Odyssey 2 on Switch.
Like,
that's not
we're
happening.
Not going to be getting any new original releases for the Switch at this time around, because I feel
at the
as
very
if
least
like
major ones. Pokemon's not in the cycle either. There's not going to be a new Pokemon for the Switch again.
Scar and Vi was the last one for
the Switch, it's every 3 years. It's always every 3 years with Pokemon, so there's not going to be a new one of that. They'd be stupid to release a second Odyssey on the Switch, like, before the new one drops. That makes no sense.
Well, they did
We just got the big sequel to Tears of the to Breath of the Wild, so there's not going to be a new major Zelda.
Zelda, yeah. So, there is that one Legends Kalos is already being I think it's still slated for the Switch this time around.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, so I mean, we still have that. I think that'll probably be the last Pokemon game for the Switch, reasonably speaking. Like, I think that is probably going to be the last one.
Unless they drop a new Pokemon Coliseum. In which case, that would go stupid on the Switch. If they drop a new Pokemon Coliseum with just a collection of minigames.
Or even, like, Coliseum... Like, cause Coliseum for GameCube was a single player adventure game. Like it wasn't like Stadium. So
I was confusing Coliseum with Stadium. My bad. I meant Stadium. I'm sorry.
Like, it's fair because, like, everyone thought when they saw Coliseum for the very first time, like, they thought, like, oh shit, is it gonna be like, you know, Pokemon Stadium? Because, like, Pokemon Stadium was like kind of just the Nintendo 64. 1 and 2 was both like kind of just like this like culmination of like those generations in like on your big screen and shit. And they thought Coliseum was going to be the same, but it was actually like, you know, a full-blown like adventure game, like single player and all that.
Yeah.
And no gym leaders this time around and all that. But, you know, as far as like, you know, I mean, you know, if they did a fucking Coliseum remake, like on top of also XD Gala Darkness, that shit would go hard. It would go hard. But it's one of those games too that Game Freak and even Pokemon Company in general like seem to want you to forget, or like they always ignore when people bring it up, because like it was one of the few times where like they really tried to do anything different, like, you know, kind of like akin to like what we got with Arceus. It was very much like kind of not exactly part of the formula, even though it kind of was. It could still follow the same battle mechanics and stuff like that, but it was just like as far as story went and elements, it was kind of a bit different that time around. But I mean, you know, I'm trying to also keep myself neutral and all that, because like I feel as if like, because like I know they're gonna be having all hands on deck for Legends Kalos, so like I feel as if like, you know, probably
they're not doing anything else with Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. They won't be diverting any other resources anywhere else. So
maybe I can't think of anything. We're overdue for a new Donkey Kong game. Maybe they'll just subtly drop a new DK game this year, or like early next year, like while they round out the numbers for the Switch, or maybe they remastered DK64. Because I can't see them making like a new DK game since they dropped Tropical Freeze on the Switch many years ago, and that
isn't that also still amazing. It's still a rare property though, isn't it? 64.
DK64.
I think that was made by Rare, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but so were the original Donkey Kong Country games. I mean, they could get a different developer to do it. The new Donkey Kong games had nothing to do with Rare.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying though, for 64's case, like it, you know, the developers wise, it was made by Rare, so like I feel as if like, I mean, maybe it won't have to be anything with Microsoft, but I also still feel like if I was Nintendo, I would rather just make one last like good Donkey Kong game, rather than like try to do that whole legal shit and like then kind of get like the rights to make a 64 remake.
Are you sure they need the rights to do that, Dennis? I mean, they own the rights to Donkey Kong. Like they the new DK games on the Switch and the Wii U and the Wii and stuff, the new Donkey Kong Country games, Rare had nothing to do with those. I don't think they need Rare's permission to make another 3D Donkey Kong game.
Okay.
Maybe a remaster of DK64. I don't know, but like, I'm trying to think of everything. There's no new Mario, Zelda, or Pokemon. Not a chance in hell. There's already too many Kirby games on the Switch. I'd be shocked if they release another new one.
There's actually
Yoshi, hell no. I doubt that because of we already had the fucking whatchamadoodle Crafted World. Fucking, I can't think of anything else to do. If I was at the helm, I would literally just be like, remaster Star Fox Assault, use it as testing grounds for to see if we can eventually make one new Star Fox game for the Switch
aside,
too.
Right?
No, yeah, seriously, my bias aside, like I'm dead serious because like I can't think of what else to do. You're in a testing period right now. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is literally a test, and everyone's passing. Just do the same thing with Star Fox. If there was ever a time, it's already been like 10 years since the last Star Fox game. You don't know what the fuck to do with a new one. So remaster an old one and be like, do people still like Star Fox? I can't think of a better time to do it. Same thing with Kid Icarus. People have been begging for Kid Icarus Uprising for the Switch for years, and Nintendo is in that phase where they're at end of life of consoles, so they're finally doing these remasters that people have been begging for forever. Literally, if there was ever a time to remaster these games, like, again, biased aside, like, I love both those games, of course, but like, it also just kind of makes sense when you think about it. To like, if you're focusing all your efforts on the new console anyway, making like probably a sequel to Odyssey or a new Mario game for it, pushing Prime 4 over to the new one so the graphic fidelity and just overall game feel will be way better than it would be on the Switch. And just released a $70 Zelda game. So literally, what else is there for them to do? I can't think. I literally can't think of what else they can release as far as brand new games go, but I suppose we're just gonna figure out this month, Dennis, aren't we?
Yeah, because I also feel we'll probably also be pleasantly surprised as well. Like
we usually are.
Yeah, like I mean, the Thousand Year Door
Fire Emblem
remake
season? Maybe it's new Fire Emblem season already.
I could see them also remaking that one.
Because that they don't give a fuck. They're not gonna wait till the next console to release another mainline fucking Fire Emblem game. They will put like 3 on the same console towards end of life. Those fucking weebs will buy the shit out of that fucking. They'll buy the shit out of it, man. They always do.
There is one Fire Emblem game from the GameCube that I think is actually celebrated among the fan base.
Path of Radiance.
Maybe
Path of Radiance. That's the one that one that Ike is from.
Yeah. So we could see that one. Maybe to be announced. I feel as if the fans would probably go nuts because like I heard that one's actually celebrated.
They should do that too because of Smash, people are going to recognize Ike now. Because that was before Fire Emblem was as hugely popular as it is now. That was when
Three Houses saved that franchise too. Oh no,
Awakening.
Yeah,
the one for the 3DS.
Franchise.
That was the one that just sold millions of copies for like no fucking reason, and Nintendo was like,
"Hey yo, these weebs are."
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they had their Filthy Frank moment where they were just in the boardroom. They were like, "Oh my god, weeaboos." Money.
Weeaboos equal money.
They made like $50 million off of Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game where you can individually buy the fucking characters. Something like that. I might be getting the numbers wrong, but it was something absurd. I know weebs who have spent thousands on that fucking game.
I mean, we also know a couple friends here and there that spend a fuck ton of money on gacha. We all know somebody.
If you like Fire Emblem, so that would actually be a good idea too for all the new Fire Emblem games who haven't played the old ones. And now can't because Path of Radiance is like $300 fucking because it's an old GameCube game. Impossible to get now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there ever a time to do that? They should that's a good call. I didn't even think of Fire Emblem because I don't even really play Fire Emblem. They should remaster Path of Radiance. That's a great idea. And it would be good for a modern audience too because there's a hidden canon that Ike is actually gay.
I did not know that.
No, I'm serious, but like they had him, I think, holding hands with another dude at the end of the game, or he was like subtly shipped in game with another one of the dudes, but it was 2004, so they didn't they didn't do anything. Fair. So now they could do that, and they could have their Vivian Trans moment with Fire Emblem. That's a good call, Dennis. I didn't even think of that. You're a fucking bro, Dennis. Yo, Dennis, you a fucking you a smart cookie. Has anybody ever told you that?
So painful being this good looking. You know
Has anybody ever told you that you're this fucking like smart while also being that sexy at the same time? How'd you do that, bro? How'd you do that? Before you answer anything else, how'd you do that? How'd you even fucking do that?
I don't know, man. I was just born with it. I don't know what I'm saying.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe he's
Maybelline.
All right. Well, we're not talking about TF2. We're not getting on that. The movement's still going to be going on.
Yeah,
and again, it's going to be going on next week still. So like, I can wait.
We could also just be flat out wrong about our predictions. It could literally be fucking anything.
I definitely did not expect this to turn into a direct prediction thing, but honestly, I'm cool with that. You know, because it's always fun to do. You know,
it's true.
And then the thing comes out, and it's just like 3 farming simulators in a row. Watch this be the lamest direct of all time, and it's the one the president of Nintendo told us about.
He's like, yo, this guy's just gonna be hype. Like, think you guys are gonna love this shit.
Harvest Moon.
Oh, my sister would go nuts for that.
Harvest Moon is an adorable title. I gotta say, there's just something something very charming about that. I can't explain it. It makes me feel at home for some reason. I should try.
Makes you feel at peace.
It does, yeah. It's a sweet title. It's just like Sailor Moon. When you put Moon at the end of something, it just sounds great. Like Sailor Moon, Harvest Moon. It just makes it sound like homey for some reason.
The more I look at this list of like top GameCube games and shit,
yeah,
there's some of them that I just recognized, and like because I essentially almost forgot about them. Oh man.
Like what? Lay it on me, big boy.
Beautiful Joe.
Oh,
I can see them.
That's gonna be tough because they don't actually have the rights for.
Yeah. Monkey Ball HD.
Isn't the studio that made that shit like gone now?
I think so. Yeah. Believe so.
No, it wasn't. Wait, no, it was Platinum Games. Nintendo owns that.
Was it Platinum Games?
I've never played Beautiful Joe. I've never played Beautiful
I heard
Joe.
That before,
I have no
though.
idea.
They this would go insane if they ever did it, but I don't think they ever would because just because of the company that I'm about to mention. Adventure 2 Battle as an HD remake with like modern, graphics and such. I don't think they ever would do it because that dub is fucking terrible. Like no amount of like updated graphics would save the jankness of that fucking script.
Yeah.
It would not save it like at all.
Did you know
Unless
that
they redid the whole thing.
You know that apparently Shadow the Hedgehog was potentially slated to have an M rating because they kept having him say fuck. And then they just cut all of it. No, that just released recently, and now people are begging for them to release the original cut. They're like, please, God, like, let us hear that. Like, apparently it was like the third word out of his mouth, like, every time. I'm not kidding. Look this up. This leaked recently. It's pretty nuts. But, yeah. Honestly, we hope you enjoyed our predictions there. We're going to talk about the TF2 thing next week, I guess. You know what? It's just as well because I have some TF2 players that I'd like to have on the podcast. So you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Better to save it anyway. Let's do that. Yeah. Well, I don't know when this direct is happening, but hopefully it'll be a spicy one. We'll obviously talk about it because we always do. We didn't talk about Sony's State of Play because there was nothing, as always.
Sony still has only one game that they've released. Only one.
Besides that Astral thing, which looks kind of cute, but it's not enough reason to spend $500 on a PS5. Yeah.
Keep forgetting that.
I give up. That's it. We hope you all enjoyed the podcast here, the plugs. Double Dash? Nah.
For Double Dash.
Well, actually, that's interesting because who knows what the hell they're going to do with the new Mario Kart, because Mario Kart 8 is still above and beyond the best-selling game on the console, so there's not going to be an original one for the Switch. So for the new one, who the hell knows what they're going to do? They need to have some sort of new gimmick, and I don't know what the hell they could even do with a new Mario Kart, to be honest. So maybe they'll bring, like, the double racing formula back?
Perhaps, mayhaps. Again,
I don't know.
So wait and see.
Nintendo probably wouldn't want to do that, though, because they'll probably see that as cheap, because it's not new. It's something they've done before. Fair. And Nintendo is very big on... And Nintendo is a company that is partially driven by ego, so they're not going to be like, hey, we released the same shit again.
Hey, yo, but to be fair, out of the three of them, Nintendo be winning. They've been winning for 7 years.
Oh,
They've been winning.
I'm just saying they're not going to release something and pass it off as new. When it's just something new. If they were going to do Double Dash again, they would literally just make Double Dash again.
They are pretty honest with that, though, usually. Yeah. They're like, we always are out here trying to innovate, unlike, fucking everyone else.
They're not going to make a remaster and call it a new game.
Yeah, true.
They don't do that. They don't do that, yeah. All right. Well, here's the plugs. check them out. You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts, such as Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review. Apple Podcasts. Definitely on youtube.com/Nintoonist. Give us some more love. Last week, y'all spurned us, and it made me cry. Or maybe that was because I lost my job. I don't know. Maybe that too. But it's okay, because I already got a new one, so it's all fine and dandy. Yeah, we hope you all enjoyed this week's episode. We're going to shut the hell up before it gets too long already, because I still have to find out how to piece it apart, because Dennis opened the episode talking for about 7 minutes about his fucking sleep.
Guys, get some good sleep. For the love of God, please.
I just farted so wet. Did you hear that?
I did not.
It was I'm kind of glad. It was a little quiet. All right, I have to end the show now before I gas myself. We hope you all enjoyed. See you next week. We'll be talking about the fixed TF2 movement, unless some major hilarious e-girl shit happens and I have to talk. Fuck! I forgot to talk about that.
Oh, what?
Pokimane had an editor that would fucking not release stuff for her for months on end because he couldn't stop jacking off to the footage she sent him.
Even though it's non-sexual?
Yeah, fuck! That would have been funny as hell! Oh, whatever.
I did not know that.
Fuck it, no one cares anyway. Bye. Bye.